for today's cup of coffee.
Cup of coffee.
We're going to be discussing a musical genre that is often overlooked, and maybe it's just in my circles.
Well, it's not the genre, it's the niche of music that it's in.
And Kid was playing a video game. It's called Alice Madness Returns.
Yes.
And it's captivating.
Mm-hmm. It's a really good game. I love that game.
And he does a really good job as far as gaming because these are interactive movies. And the
just don't play
storylines.
multiplayer with me. Don't play multiplayer with me. I will annoy the piss out of you.
The storylines that go with them and the artwork, and some of them are better than others. Mm-hmm. This one is a really visually pleasing game.
Yeah.
The actual gameplay, that one level was like 9 years long.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. And that was the only thing. But as I was watching this, I was also listening to it. And I'm like, the score on this is incredible. And
it really is. It's good. It's good.
Within that, the music was produced by Jason Tai. I think is how you pronounce it. It's T-A-I. And Marshall Crutcher. And
that's for Returns, right? Madness Returns?
Yes. And it said that one of the tracks, Wasteland, was written and performed by Chris Vrenna, who composed the original soundtrack for American McGee's Alice. Mm-hmm. And
also, Jessica Adams lended her vocals for that soundtrack for the original Alice.
And it said that the 22-piece score was released on May the 17th of 2011 by EA Recordings, titled Alice Madness Returns, Original Video Game Soundtrack. And then the full unofficial soundtrack with over 100 musical pieces was unofficially released as the Alice Madness Returns Unreleased Original Soundtrack. And this info came from AliceFandom.com.
Yeah.
And
it's a good website to get a lot of information about Alice.
It is. And a lot of different things. The fandom.com, if you are a fan of something, somebody's probably got a page on there.
Listen, those fans, they take that research seriously.
They do. They really do. And I've used it for different things before. And they're just, yeah.
Those are more than fans. Those are stands.
They do a really good job because this is something that is very precious to them. Mm-hmm. And one of the other soundtracks that I have been very familiar with, I haven't really listened to it because it's a little too soothing. And that's Skyrim.
Yeah.
And Elder Scrolls.
Game.
And that's Jeremy Soule. Mm-hmm. And those are very popular, and you can find those all over the UFTube.
See, I have tried to play Skyrim, and yes, the music is good in it. It's not my type of music that I would listen to every day, but it's good. It's a really chill game. I just somehow struggle on finding out where I'm supposed to go in that game.
Right.
Because it is such an open world game.
Right. It's
very easy to get lost and just wander off somewhere and do side quests instead of the main quest.
Right. I can see that. I mean, any of these things, for people to do these games, and some of them for days and years, and seriously. Uh-huh. And they keep coming up with these, are they expansion packs? Or whatever it is it's called, that it's like the newest addition onto it.
It's DLC or expansion packs, which is just another form of DLC.
You explain what a DLC is.
Downloadable content.
Okay.
And
not all of us understand. We don't speak the lingo. You have to explain it for us. Mm-hmm. And there's another, I can't remember. I've heard your brother use the word before, and I can't remember what it is. That it's, like I said, it's sort of like the latest version of whatever. And Kid likes the music that is by that's for the 3 Silent Hill games. And do you want to go ahead and pronounce his name?
I don't know for a fact if it was just for the main 3, for the first 3. I think he worked on part of 4. I really don't, but it's Akira Yokohama.
Uh-huh.
I think that's Yokohama.
No, Yamaoka.
See, I didn't have the name right in front of me, so hold up. Let me rewind that, cut that.
It's all right, because all of us have to try to figure
Akira
it out.
Yamaoka.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it very atmospheric. Goes along because these are spooky games. These are horror games. The Silent Hill things are.
Mm-hmm.
And he just nails it.
He does.
And with the soundtrack of these games, and that goes on along with some of the voice actors on the games, they can either make a game or break it.
Yeah. And see, now, Silent Hill's voice acting, it ain't the best voice acting.
Right.
But the voice acting works for that type of game because it causes that dissonance almost. It's that very liminal, dreamlike type of feel with the way that they speak and all that, along with the music. The music goes perfectly with the games.
Mm-hmm. It's unnerving.
Some of it is unnerving.
Yeah.
Some of it is very calm, soothing. It's, supposed to give off that atmosphere.
Right.
It achieves its goal super well, along with Alice's music.
Silent Hill has got some really... The story behind all of it is very unnerving.
Very...
highly disturbing.
I mean...
It's dark. It's really dark.
You're dealing with topics of severe depression, suicide, murder in some cases. And in 3, you're dealing with the prospect of birth and dealing with that child, an unwanted child.
Mm-hmm. And that these people were in their own version of hell.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to figure out why they were there and the monsters that were of their own making.
Yeah. At least that's how it was in Silent Hill 2 and in, I think, Silent Hill 4.
Now, was Silent Hill 2, was that the one with the pyramid head?
Mm-hmm.
And it was very iconic.
It was so iconic that they continued to use him, even though it was not supposed to be for any other Silent Hill game. He was supposed to be for Silent Hill 2, specifically as Harry's main demon.
Right. And I don't know, they could do better on some of this stuff. They really, really could. Another soundtrack that I was familiar with, and that's for the series Halo.
I've never played those games.
And
they were not games that I was ever interested in.
And I'm trying to think what it was that I had. It was something other FM. They had, I'll put the reference in there, that this was written by Martin O'Donnell. And they had said at that point that the original soundtrack was still the best-selling video game soundtrack of all time.
I can believe that, because just that opening music alone, it is good.
It's very Gregorian. If you like Gregorian chant, then you will like the soundtrack to Halo.
Yeah, for real.
If you like Vikings,
if you like cathedral, songs,
God of War, and Bear McCreary. As far as that was another one that was God of War.
That's Vikings.
Yeah, it was Vikings.
Never played it either.
But
never watched anyone
just
play it.
Scrolling through some of those, and what was some of the other ones? It was classicfm.com that they had as far as what they had their
not
top 20.
Aisha.fm?
Huh?
Not Aisha.fm?
No. And this was, it was March 2023, so that's not terrible. It's not that long ago, about a year. It was interesting because some of the things that they had included here was like the original Super Mario and the MIDI and different things that's very iconic and very identifiable. But we were talking about just things that you could sit and listen to by itself.
I mean, depending on the person, you could honestly... Some people would downright listen to this original Super Mario soundtrack.
For how long?
I don't know, but there are some people that just...
Of course, we did do the 10-hour version of the Wii music that time.
I can see that more than Super Mario, but then again, Nintendo's usually good with their music anyway. It's very iconic for the most part.
Well, that one and Legend of Zelda was by Koji Kondo.
Oh, which Legend of Zelda? The original? Or?
It just said the Legend of Zelda.
Because I will say...
very MIDI.
I like the soundtrack from Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
And Majora's Mask. Majora's Mask, I'm a little bit more... Like... It has a softer spot in my heart just because I played that game more than... the other one.
Right. And I think that's the reason as far as the genre for those of us that are older that we just are a lot of times not aware of it.
Mm-hmm. And see, I'm not usually one of these people that gets so into a game that I'm like, oh, let me listen to the soundtrack. Let me just buy the soundtrack, all that.
Another one they mentioned was Final Fantasy, the series on that.
People are really going to murder me with this one. I did not play that one either. I tried to play Final Fantasy online. It was
I think nobody cares whether you played Final Fantasy or not. They really don't.
Well,
I've never played it, and it's just like that does not make you a lesser human.
In some people's eyes.
Well, shit on those people that have to do that.
I mean, I get it. The game is pretty. The music is amazing. Another thing that goes into Final Fantasy is Kingdom Hearts. The music for Kingdom Hearts is really damn good, and that intro broke my heart. That intro made me cry.
Well, that, and then they've got, as far as I think a lot of these are the first person shooters, Medal of Honor.
Yeah.
And there was another one that was down here somewhere. So of course those are going to be more epic. Mm-hmm. You know, a lot of the gaming music is epic. I like epic music, but I can't listen to it all the time.
Except for, like, games, for example, Elo Milo. Elo Milo is another one. I can just sit down. I can listen to that soundtrack because it's cute. It's nice.
Right.
It's uplifting.
Right. I can
It's very Fruitiger era.
You know.
Fruitiger era.
What is that?
Early 2000s aesthetic type thing.
Okay.
That was the one where you saw a lot of, like, super shiny futurism stuff with aqua, a lot of that, like bubbles, water, a lot of water. You saw it in...
So it's an art style in addition to a music.
Mm-hmm. Very much. You can actually see that style on some soap bottles still.
Okay.
Like the ones with the fish and such. Fruitiger era.
I get that.
And you know those lights that looked like the faux aquariums, and so it scrolled by? That's Fruitiger era as well.
Okay. I can see that. I can see that. So it's just something very soothing and calm.
Yeah. Yeah.
We need some of that. Maybe we need some more of that.
It's a very optimistic aesthetic.
Well, I prefer that because there's so many of the video games that are very dystopian.
Yeah, very much.
And it wears on you after a period of time. What was that one that you had previewed? And it was just kind of crazy.
I don't know. There was a lot that I previewed, and I'm like, really?
World of Warcraft is another one that people have really liked the soundtrack on that.
I think you were talking about, like, it wasn't Bleeding Edge, was it? Because Bleeding Edge is cool.
Had 4. It was like where you had Big Lady that turned into the motorcycle.
That was Bleeding Edge.
Okay.
And don't get me wrong, Bleeding Edge is cool. The music could have been done better in it. So from what I saw, and I don't know, the gameplay style, it's all right. But it's the same thing as fucking Overwatch.
There's a lot of them that is very similar, and I get this. That it's like Taco Bell. It's all the same ingredients, just arranged slightly differently.
Well, that's like Dead by Daylight. Texas Chainsaw Massacre came out with their own version of Dead by Daylight, like their own game.
And I don't know if it's a matter that the gaming companies are doing that or what. And that's what I told Kid, because he was scrolling through, what is it, Gameplay? Xbox
Game
Gameplay?
Pass.
Game Pass?
Yeah, it's on Xbox.
And honestly, it seems like Steam has some of the more original games.
Well, yeah, it's easier for small developers to put their games on there, because to get it on Xbox, you had to go through the company and all that shit. And you still got to do that with Steam to an extent, but it's like,
well, you've got so many indie games.
Yeah.
On there, and that was
it's
one of the things.
It's easier for indie developers to put games on there.
Sure. About I'm on observation duty, which there's everybody and their brothers making their own version, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was a different style of game. And it's just, it's awesome. It's something that somebody like me that cannot sit there with a controller, because you can sit there with a mouse and do whatever.
The thing is, that game is not, you would not be able to play that with a controller. It's not
right.
doable. It's not a controller game. You had to have like a mouse and keyboard.
Right. But even the style of game was newer.
Uh-huh. But there's also a soundtrack that goes to that. Well, not a soundtrack, but like the specific artist's music goes really well.
The White Bat
with the
Studio.
Observation. Yeah, White Bat Studio is what I was trying to get at.
Yeah, we've talked about them before. And, he's great, because not only is the music amazing, but it's copyright free. So if somebody is a streamer or doing anything like that, he makes the music available so that they can use that while they're doing the gameplay.
But it works really well with Observation Duty.
Oh, yes.
And it almost feels like it was made for that game.
Yes. And I think it's where we have watched Gab Smolders. So she always uses that.
But she says similar things. It's
it's like it was made for it.
Yeah, she forgets that the music was not in game.
I have tried playing it with something else, and it just didn't work for me. You miss it.
Back in the day, I used to play Mindless Self-Indulgence.
I love Mindless Self-Indulgence.
And zoom through San Andreas on Grand Theft Auto.
Well, I can see how that would work.
Mm-hmm.
Now, those have their own soundtracks, but that was pop music. It was normal.
It was like actual radio.
Right.
It was top 100s on there. That's basically what it was, along with other stations that had different genres. There was a punk station. That's how I found out about some punk bands.
Which was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as, I think that the video game music composers really, I don't think they're getting enough credit.
No, they don't. Actually, I think anyone that is a true musician don't get enough credit that they deserve.
Well, I have heard, even as far as the artists working on these games, that they're not getting the credit.
Mm-mm.
And that ain't cool.
No.
So that's another thing I appreciate about Steam, when you've got the indie artists and stuff on there, and some of these YouTubers and people like that they'll play their games, and that gives them a boost, and then other people, I mean, that's a win-win.
But how many times do people actually sit through the credits on those games once they finish them? And read them?
You can read it there on the side when you first get the game.
Yeah, you can.
I'm one of those. I do that. But
that's what I'm saying. How many people actually do that, though? While you or I may do that, but other people don't.
I'm on observation duty. Swag. I want a Banana Man hoodie.
Please give us a Banana Man hoodie. Or a Big Man. I want Big Man.
So
where's my Big Man shirt?
There's all kinds of things that these designers and stuff like that, and I know they're busy just trying to produce product, produce the games, and where that they can feed their family and themselves.
Yeah.
So they may not have the time to do the merchandising and stuff like that, which could assist them.
Yeah.
So
we got cats fighting.
We got cats, and it's just like, no. So it's like whatever is flingable. So that's the reason you're here. Then what is that? It's flingables.
Throw a roll of tape. Throw a chocolate.
It was a small roll of tape. There was just a little bit of duct tape left on that one, and it's just like
it was basically cardboard, so it was fine.
But yeah,
a bag of popcorn.
Go online, find you some video game soundtracks. There's some really good stuff out there. And just wanted to bring that.
as far as Final Fantasy, I know that is a highly regarded like soundtrack right there. I wish I could give my opinion on it, but I never got into it.
And it's okay. Not everybody can do everything or know everything all the time.
It's basically one big RPG, and I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to play that game.
But it's just something, it's good to mix things up, learn about new things, learn about different styles of music all the time.
Yeah.
And to give a little bit of appreciation and love to these creators out there, because that's their heart and their soul that they're putting in to their work.
It is.
So, final thoughts, kid?
Oh, listen to the music if it's good.
Yeah. Even if it ain't good, sit there and go,
that's when you put it on mute.
Yeah.
Look around, everybody on mute.
That's when you put it on, when you put it on mute and then you pick your own. That's what we do.
Yeah. I do that all the time with certain games.
We've done that in lots of things.
And if it's a really scary game that I'm playing, I will put on something that's sort of like upbeat, like some sort of like new metal or something like that.
That sort of take the edge off of it.
Yeah.
Because you want to control the experience rather than allowing it to control you.
Yeah.
So, if you've had experiences with paranormal or supernatural encounters with UFOs, aliens, cryptids, if you would like to share your favorite video game soundtrack or whatever, you can send us an email, cupofcoffeewithscream@gmail.com, or put that in the comment section. The Gmail address.
Yes.
The thing is in the description box.
Yeah, it's all right there. If you like this video, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. Click that notification button. It likes the attention, even though it don't work half the time, but it's just a little bit special. Give it patience.
And everybody needs a little patience these days.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Thank you all for joining us. Have a good one.
Know that you're loved. And Lord willing, we'll see you on the next cup.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.